Alright, I'll see you tomorrow, Granny, Naruto said with a slight smile. Tsunade nodded. Yeah, I'll grab you in the morning before we head over, okay? Tsunade reminded Naruto. He waved off her words as he left her office. Yeah, I got it later, Naruto said, closing the door behind him. So, wanna tell me how you could do all that stuff earlier? Naruto glanced up at Ryuk, who was grinning as he sat upside down on the ceiling. Naruto glanced around, seeing that there were people around him, and thus refusing to answer. Naruto walked up to the roof since it was the closest exit. After a minute or so, Naruto reached the roof and turned to Ryuk, who faded through the door to keep up. I guess you mean the ninjutsu. I told you I used my chakra to do it, Naruto replied. Ryuk grinned, liking that he was finally answered. Yeah, but what is chakra? It wasn't around last time I was in the area, Ryuk replied before sitting on the rail. Naruto wandered over to Ryuk's side, leaning against the railing next to Ryuk, as he looked out over the village. It's, well, I guess the easiest way to explain is power. Power that us ninjas get taught to utilize when we were young. It helps us to protect our village, Naruto explained. Ryuk sat in silence as he contemplated the boy's words for a few moments, until he swung his legs over the rail. Cool, so when can I get those apples, huh? Ryuk asked, his grin growing back. Naruto rolled his eyes. The shops are shut by now, but if we're lucky, I still know a place. What's so special about apples, anyway? Naruto asked as he vaulted over the rail, hopping down from ledge to ledge in his descent down the Hokage Tower. Ryuk cackled as he hovered next to Naruto. They're literally 1,000,000 times better than the apples we have in the Shinigami realm. Look, Ryuk said, pulling one out from seemingly nowhere. Landing on the ground, Naruto caught the ashen gray apple, scowling in disgust as he did so. I don't even want to try it, Naruto mumbled to himself before dropping the gray piece of food to the ground. Ryuk was nodding viciously. I know, imagine having to eat that every day. Now, where are we gonna get some earth apples, eh? I'm hungry, Ryuk complained as he began flying next to the walking Naruto. Naruto rolled his eyes, coming up to some people, so deciding to keep quiet. He began building hopping, only replying as Ryuk caught up. Just follow me. I used to go to this place when I was younger for free apples, Naruto said before speeding up. Ryuk cackled as he flew after Naruto. This kid is really something, Ryuk thought as the two of them soared across the village. About 5 minutes later, Naruto dropped from the rooftops and began walking towards a fence. He hopped over it quietly, grabbing a couple of low-hanging apples from a tree in the civilian's backyard before leaping back over. Here you go, Naruto said, tossing an apple to Ryuk. Catching the apple, Ryuk got to munching away quickly, causing Naruto to stare incredulously at the death god's excitement over an apple. As Ryuk tilted his head back to swallow the core whole, Naruto caught the glimpse of a metallic object behind the floating being. Naruto walked past the Shinigami, tossing the second apple into the air as he passed. Naruto looked in through the dimly lit windows of the storefront to look closer at what had caught his eye near the back. The curve of the blade, the shine of the silver steel, the way the black of the pole absorbed the light around it. Naruto felt his breath hitch as he looked at the beautiful weapon. Ryuk looked towards Naruto as he scarfed down the second apple, seeing the blonde move towards the dimly lit store. Where is he going? Ryuk wondered to himself as he watched Naruto enter the store. Ding-a-ling. Naruto glanced around the store as he came through the door. The place seemed run down. Webs in the corner connecting from a sword to a pair of tonfa. A rusted naginata leaning loosely against the wall. The business was going downhill. Looking over to a curtain of beads, Naruto watched as an old woman walked out, peering at Naruto through her spectacles. Hello, young man. How can I help you this evening? She asked, in a weak voice though. She was smiling kindly. Naruto smiled back and bowed. "My name is Naruto. I was wondering if I could take a look at that," Naruto said, pointing to the back of the store. The woman nodded and pulled herself up onto a stool. "Please feel free to browse. I'll be here if you need anything." Naruto nodded in thanks before walking up to the weapon. He could hear his heartbeat in his ears. As he came to a stop in front of the shining silver, his shadow blocking the light of the store from hitting the weapon. Reaching out, Naruto wrapped his hands around the pole, seeing that it reached up to just below his shoulder height as he stood it on the ground next to him. Naruto couldn't help but grin as he saw his reflection in a nearby mirror. This weapon, well, I guess it's fitting since I already have one tool from a death god. Why not another? Naruto thought before lifting the weapon to rest on one shoulder, the blade arcing around the back of his head and arm's length further. Naruto walked over to the desk and placed the scythe on the counter. "This please," Naruto said, a thumping of his heart leaving his ears. The woman nodded. "You know, if you want to buy these scrolls as well, I can cut their prices in half," she said hopefully. Naruto glanced at the scrolls the woman was gesturing towards, seeing kata scrolls about fighting with the scythe and one on fighting with a bow staff. I guess it's a good deal, he thought before seeing the hopeful look the old lady was giving him, knowing that she was trying to hide that the bow staff scroll was not about scythes. Naruto in relief sighed before looking back into the old lady's eyes. She definitely needs the business, Naruto thought as he pulled out his froggy wallet. Well, someone has taken the Shinigami role seriously, Ryuk said with a cackle as Naruto exited the store. Naruto leapt upwards, performing a backflip to land on the roof of the building he had just exited from. He held up the scythe as the moonlight hit it, glinting menacingly off of the blade. Naruto smirked. "Ryuk, tell me, has this book been in someone else's hands before?" Naruto asked. Ryuk grinned. "Oh, how do you know that? You hinted that you've been to Earth before, and the Death Note already has many names in it. Just tell me one thing. How did his reign with the Death Note come to an end?" Naruto asked, trying to find an edge on controlling the power of the Death Note. Ryuk cackled with a grin. "Well, basically, I killed him," Ryuk said. Naruto scowled as he looked at Ryuk's floating form. "Are you going to kill me?" Naruto asked. Ryuk simply laughed once more. "We'll see." Naruto watched Ryuk for a moment more before he turned. "Can you do me a favor, Ryuk?" Naruto asked. Ryuk raised a brow as he flew to stop by Naruto's side. "Depends what it is and what's in it for me," Ryuk said as he looked at Naruto's face. "I'm going to make a difference in this world. I just want you to watch and enjoy the show," Naruto said with a smirk towards the Shinigami. Ryuk grinned. "Well, if you keep it interesting enough." Ryuk agreed. "Well, sort of." Naruto shared the quiet chuckle before leaping off towards home for sleep, his new scythe over one shoulder and his scrolls in the grasp of his other hand. The next day. "Okay, I'll see you guys later, yeah?" Naruto asked as he looked back through the curtains. Ayame and Teuchi were smiling towards him as they nodded. "Catch you later, Naruto," Teuchi shouted to the blonde. Naruto nodded and was about to turn when he heard Ayame's voice. "I'm looking forward to it, Naruto." Naruto glanced back at the slight shiver that moved up his spine, simply from the tone of her voice. Yeah, he said, feeling himself blush for no reason as he turned away. Tsunade chuckled as he caught up to her, exiting the Ichiraku ramen shop. "What's got you so flustered, Naruto?" she asked, with a smirk. Naruto waved his hand dismissively, doing his best to ignore Ryuk as he munched away on an apple on the roof right across from there. "It's nothing, Granny, but thanks for talking to Ayame. She seems just like her old self after only a single night." Naruto said as he tried to change the subject. Tsunade nodded as the two turned towards the Hokage Tower and began walking. Hey, as far as I remember, you did most of the cuddling. Tsunade joked as she thought of the memories from her shadow clone. Naruto raised a brow. The only thing he was remembering was an innocent hug, which turned into a 45-minute hug. It wasn't cuddling, Ayame just fell asleep, Naruto said, twisting his expression at the memory into a nervous and obviously uncomfortable smirk. Tsunade rolled her eyes, with you as her blanket and pillow on Teiuchi's couch. It's called cuddling, Naruto, she said in a lecturing voice. Naruto sighed before realizing that Tsunade had paused for a moment in their walk. He glanced over his shoulder to her as she clicked her fingers as if having a sudden realization. Right, so what is it you needed help with? Some new training or something? She asked, finally remembering the reason he had taken her to breakfast at Ichiraku's. Naruto grinned. I've found the weapon I want to be known with. It feels right for me, even though I'm sure some will say otherwise in a heartbeat, he explained just as Ryuk floated down to his side. Tsunade nodded. Do you mind if I ask what weapon? She queried as the two began walking again, Ryuk following right behind them. Naruto smirked. Actually, I wanted to keep it as a surprise for when I can take the Chunin exam, he said. Tsunade raised her brow at Naruto. The Chunin exam? You already want to take it? She asked. Naruto nodded. Yeah, I figured, why not? He asked rhetorically before the two of them looked off to the right. Tsunade! Tsunade glanced over to see a Chunin messenger arriving by her side. Yes, Memori? She asked. The brunette girl looked up after a bow. It's news from the stand. They lost track of the Kazekage and his captors, she explained as she passed a scroll to Tsunade. The Hokage's eyes widened. What? But what about the 100 ninjas we sent to help them? She asked as she opened the scroll. They're dead, the girl said sadly. Naruto watched the situation with a raised eyebrow. The Kazekage has been kidnapped? Wow, talk about a ransom target, he thought with a glance up to Ryuk. The Shinigami was reading over Naruto's shoulder before chuckling towards Naruto. Well, I guess that would be interesting to watch. Who knew that someone can manipulate sand to kill people anyways? He said before going back to read. Naruto's eyes widened as he felt like his heart stopped. Gaara, Naruto asked softly. Tsunade turned to Naruto, her frown turning to a look of worry as her eyes met his. Naruto, just stay calm, alright? Was Gaara the Kazekage? Naruto shouted, causing many people in the street to look at him. Tsunade nodded. Settle down, Naruto. Listen to me. Naruto took a step forward as he felt all the hairs on his body stand on end. Who took him? Tell me now. I swear I'll kill them, Naruto shouted as his eyes became slitted. Tsunade closed her eyes, knowing that Naruto wouldn't let up until she gave him an answer. A man called Deidara, the bomber. He worked for the Akatsuki, Tsunade said. Naruto was still for a whole second before he snatched the scroll from Tsunade's hand and began running. Naruto! Tsunade shouted to him as he leapt onto a nearby roof. Tsunade watched Naruto's retreating back for a moment before turning to the Chunin messenger. Get Kakashi and Guy. I need them here now, she ordered before leaping up onto a rooftop and seeing Naruto flee towards the gate. Dashing through the open gates, Naruto looked down as he read the information from the scroll as he soared through the air between leaps from branch to branch. Okay, the land of rivers. That's nearly a full day's travel from here. I have to hurry, Naruto thought before throwing the scroll to the side. Naruto glanced up as Ryuk's shadow overcame him. So Naruto, what's the big deal, huh? He asked. Naruto looked forward again. The big deal is that one of the only people who has ever understood me could be dying and I can't do anything about it, Naruto shouted in anger before realization hit him. Ryuk, you're a Shinigami, you must be able to do something, Naruto almost begged. Ryuk merely chuckled again. Just 'cause I can doesn't mean I will in any way. Maybe I can't, Ryuk said as his chuckle turned into a full-blown cackle. Naruto gritted his teeth together in anger before channeling extra chakra to his legs, pushing him forward at an even faster rate. I'm coming for you, Gaara, Naruto thought as his slitted eyes shone with determination. It was a few hours later of running at full speed that he first realized someone was nearby. He leapt up and grabbed onto a branch, using it so that he was thrown into a spin as he made a single hand seal. Whoever it is, come out or I'll... It's me, Naruto. It's just me, Kakashi shouted as he moved through the air about 10 meters behind. Landing on a branch, Naruto released his chakra, as Kakashi came to a stop with the others sent with him on a branch opposite. It took Naruto a second to catch his breath, but he finally replied. Right, we're going to get Gaara. Who's helping me? Naruto said with a harsh expression on his face. Kakashi's eyes widened in shock at Naruto's tone. My team is heading to the rendezvous point to meet up with Guy's team. They apparently have just been in confrontation with the Akatsuki member and are making their way to the location. So, are you gonna join us or what? Kakashi asked as his eyes smiled at Naruto, hoping to get some control over the boy. Naruto nodded. Good, let's go then, he said before turning to run off again. But before he could, Kakashi appeared by his side, placing a hand on Naruto's shoulder, but his other hand was out of sight from everyone but Naruto. Naruto glanced down at the kunai aimed at his stomach. Sensei? Naruto asked, so shocked that he paused his movements. Naruto looked up at Kakashi, who leaned in close so that the other two on the team wouldn't hear. I know, Naruto, I'm sorry, but you'll have to follow my lead this time. Don't worry though, we'll do this together and Gaara will be saved, Kakashi promised before he pocketed his knife. Naruto gritted his teeth behind closed lips as Kakashi leapt away. Sensei, Naruto thought, feeling hurt, angry, and all of a sudden, kinda bloated. Naruto began to follow as Sakura came up beside him. What did Sensei say, Naruto? She asked. Naruto didn't even spare her a glance, though her words did snap Naruto out of his angry thought process. Nothing that needs to be repeated. Let's move, Naruto said, determined, moving faster the movement he finished talking. Sakura's eyes widened at Naruto's attitude, but the fourth member of their team, a Jonin named Yamato, spoke softly to her as he passed. Don't worry about him right now. Focus on your mission, Yamato said before moving to run in Kakashi's shadow. Naruto pretended he didn't overhear Yamato talking to Sakura, though the distraction of the rest of his team caused his mind to begin thinking again. The Akatsuki member sent after the One-Tails. Damn it, I can't remember what pervy sage said their full names are. Naruto thought as he tried hard to remember the information given from Jiraiya's spy network. Naruto let his mind race for a moment, discovering during training that this was when he came up with his best ideas. After a few silent moments, Naruto nodded to himself before forming a quick hand seal. Shadow Clone Jutsu! He shouted as 4 clones appeared on the branch he had just landed on. Everyone turned to him in curiosity as his clones dropped down to the ground. Naruto? Kakashi asked. Naruto smirked. Knowing what I know, now I have time to practice a certain skill of mine, Naruto said seriously. The others tried to prod him for information, but Naruto merely sped up slightly, forcing the others to speed up again. The leader clone took out its copies of the scrolls, passing one of each to the clones. 20 each, 5 for each technique in the scrolls. We have no time to waste. Focus on the powerful techniques cause we won't be able to learn many in-depth skills, it ordered, with each of the other clones now holding a different one of the 2 kata scrolls with the scythe or the bow staff scroll. They formed the cross seal once more. Multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu! They shouted in unison as they prepared for training. The next morning. Everyone ready? Kakashi asked. The group had taken a 2-hour break to get sleep and replenish their chakra reserves before making the final stretch towards Guy's location. They were ready to go and thus replied to Kakashi with a serious nod. Hello, Kakashi. Naruto. The group turned with wide eyes to see Itachi casually resting against a tree. "Battle formations!" Kakashi yelled as the horde quickly spread out. Itachi pulled himself up onto his feet, turning slowly to face the four of them, as his Sharingan eyes lazily moved across his four enemies. "I've been asked to delay you. The extraction process is almost over, so I don't need to do much," Itachi said calmly, as if commenting on the weather. Naruto had had enough of Itachi's calm demeanor. "I don't have time for you," he shouted as he sprinted at Itachi, making sure to look at his chest and not his eyes. Everyone was shocked that Naruto had recklessly charged at Itachi, so much so that Naruto nearly managed to hit the Sharingan user. Itachi caught Naruto's punch, pivoting so that he could lift his leg, hitting Naruto in the stomach and knocking the ninja off his feet. Naruto gasped for air as he naturally cringed, but in that second, Itachi was staring right into his eyes. Itachi burst into crows, flying quickly around Naruto, too fast for him to react other than to cover his face. When the crows dispersed, Naruto moved his arms only for his eyes to widen at what he saw. "Sensei!" he shouted in shock. An Itachi shadow clone stood behind each of his teammates, mere seconds after knocking them out with a simple chop to the back of their necks. Naruto scowled. "Shit, Itachi is really fast," Naruto thought before seeing all the crows focus on one spot in the air above him. Itachi began to appear from the murder of crows, holding the tiger hand seal as he floated amongst the birds. "Naruto, what are your intentions towards Sasuke?" Itachi asked. Naruto blinked once more before his expression turned incredulous. "Are you fucking serious? You just killed my team and you're calmly asking about your douche of a brother?" Naruto asked with a shout. Itachi was silent before lowering his hand, flicking the other to point at Naruto. "Will you save him from the darkness, or will you let him down?" Itachi asked calmly. Naruto couldn't help it. He began chuckling. "For Locke's sake, is there something I don't know that makes everyone love Sasuke? And what do you mean from the darkness?" "That's where you seem to spend all your time, asshole," Naruto said angrily. Itachi was staring deep into Naruto's eyes, seeing straight through the blonde's distracting question. "This boy, he's very different from who he was as a child," Itachi thought, deciding that he'll need to delve further into Naruto's mind. Itachi couldn't help but smile. "Naruto, I know what you're doing," Itachi said as the real Naruto appeared behind him. "It proves to me that you will do what you think is best," Itachi continued, turning into crows as a wicked blade ripped him in half. Itachi reformed again as Naruto's clone dispelled, showing the scythe-wielding blonde in an attacking stance with a smirk. "So I was right. This is a genjutsu," Naruto said with a smirk. Itachi nodded. "If you believe so, then you can also believe that this next bit is too," Itachi said as Naruto heard flapping next to him. Naruto turned just in time for one of the crows to fly into his mouth, but he felt it move into his chakra system. The moment it moved down his esophagus. What the hell?" Naruto asked as he gasped for breath. Itachi's smile couldn't be seen, but Naruto could have sworn he felt it. "As long as you strive for your dream, you will run into him. He'll be too lost by then, but now, even if it has been through force, he will do what's right," Itachi said with determination. Naruto raised a brow. The way he's talking, what are his plans exactly? Naruto thought to himself before feeling like some of his own chakra rushed back to him. Due to his chakra influx, the genjutsu was disrupted, showing that the whole group had barely moved in the first place. Naruto smirked before coughing up a single black feather into his hand. Naruto looked up at Itachi, who nodded to him silently. "What did Itachi do to me?" Naruto thought as he felt 6 months worth of training suddenly align itself in his head. "My clones," Naruto realized as he felt he had a more than solid grip on the basics and even some of the intermediate level katas and techniques of scythe wielding. More than that, he discovered a few little tricks about his scythe, in particular, Ryuk, and Naruto was snapped from his daydream. Itachi spun, using his Sharingan to protect and counter Kakashi's move, spinning in midair to kick the Leaf Jonin in the back, knocking him to the ground while moving near instantaneously to turn towards Yamato, holding a Tiger Hand steel. Water style, water bullet jutsu, Yamato shouted as he spat the ball of pressurized water at the airborne Uchiha. Fire style, grand fireball jutsu, Itachi shouted as he launched his technique. The massive fireball evaporated the water ball in less than a second, continuing towards Yamato, who was standing not far from Naruto's right, stuck in the gasp of a suddenly appearing Itachi's clone. So Naruto acted. The blonde dove through the air sideways as his hand slipped into the pocket on his back, running a hand over the seal containing his new weapon. Poof! Wind style, upgrade blade, Naruto shouted, elongating his already large scythe blade to ridiculous proportions as he landed, slashing downward with the scythe at the oncoming attack. His extended wind blade cut the fireball right down the middle, causing it to part of either side of him and Yamato as the wood user headbutted the Itachi clone in the face, turning to kick it again so that it dispelled before he turned to Naruto. Yamato's eyes widened as he saw the blonde charging Itachi, scythe in hand, as he sprinted forward. "Naruto, wait!" Yamato shouted, knowing that Naruto had no hope against the Mangekyo user. Getting the memories from his clone, Itachi spun back in time to duck under Naruto's attack before his eyes widened at seeing a wind blade form nearly 3 feet ahead of the real steel of the scythe. Itachi leapt back, watching as the main blade nearly hit where his face would have been, the wind blade managing to cut him along his cheek. Itachi kicked up with his feet, hitting Naruto's forearm and knocking the blonde scythe high so that Itachi could punch him away, but the Sharingan picked up chakra at his target's lungs and mouth, giving him forewarning to move out of the way with his Shunshin. "Great breakthrough!" Naruto shouted as a torrential force of wind blasted the area Itachi was previously standing in. Itachi appeared over by Kakashi, closing his eyes as he realized that Kakashi's potential death blow was close enough that it would be plausible it at least would have hurt him. He stopped defending. "Ryuk," Kakashi announced once more as he slammed his jutsu through Itachi's back, killing the Uchiha? "Who the hell is that?" Sakura shouted as Itachi's face was suddenly very different. Naruto jogged over as Kakashi looked down at the man's face. "Suna get your headband?" Kakashi mumbled to himself with a frown. "You don't think Suna is working with the Akatsuki?" Yamato asked, hoping he was wrong. Kakashi stared down at the man's face for a moment longer before shaking his head. If so, why would they ask for our help capturing Gaara? They would have waited a while before sending out word, Kakashi mumbled. Naruto moved his scythe so that it was resting along his back. The blade turned back so that it rested back along his shoulders. Deidara's partner in the Akatsuki is a puppeteer called Sasori of the Red Sand. He has a technique that lets him manipulate someone so that they think that they're loyal to him beyond all else. Or at least that's what Pervy Sage guessed when he first ran into his work. I have to say, I agree with him from what I can see here, Naruto said before glancing behind him with a curious look. A telltale sign of someone being controlled by a seal before their death is that their blood flows for a few extra seconds, even though the body itself can't process it, not leaving much evidence, but for some reason, only when used on the mind. It did cause for victims' fingernails to ooze blood from underneath them. Disgusting and unnoticeable for a while, but it happened all the same. He finished the thought as he placed the pole against his back, using the memory from his clones to adhere it so that it was sticking up over his right shoulder and down past his left thigh with his chakra. Naruto nodded to himself before looking up at the team surrounding him, seeing that they were all staring at him. "What?" Naruto asked. Just a glance and Naruto knew that Kakashi was staring at him for knowing the information. Sakura was staring in shock of him, wielding a scythe of all things, and Yamato was looking confused between the three of them. "Senpai? Shouldn't we be leaving now?" Yamato asked. Kakashi snapped out of his curious thinking and nodded as he began forming hand seals. "Yes, we are. Stay close now. Considering Itachi was here, or not, we must be close enough for them to be wary of us. We'll take a reverse diamond formation around Sakura. Naruto on the left, Yamato on the right. I'll take the rear," Kakashi said before slamming his hand on the ground. "Summoning jutsu. Poof. Pakun, you take lead. Remember Gaara's smell from the Chunin exam?" Kakashi asked as a small duck appeared. It nodded. "The sand guy? Yeah, it's not like I'll forget that anytime soon." "Shit got real, man," Paku said with a shake of his head before taking a few deep breaths, turning instantly to the north. "Got the scent, at least 3 hours away," the dog reported before it began running, the leaf ninja falling into place around him. As they began running, Naruto quickly tried some mental calculations as he pulled out a sealing scroll. "Okay, so one day, give me 6 months of training. So 3 hours is an eighth of that, just over 3 weeks," he thought before forming a familiar cross-hand seal. "Shadow clone jutsu," he announced as 3 more clones popped into existence and disappeared behind them, one of them catching the scroll as he did so. Kakashi glanced at the clone before looking at Naruto questioningly. "What are they for?" Kakashi asked. Naruto smirked. "Body collection," he said simply, referring to the dead body they left behind. Kakashi's eyes smiled. "Very good idea, Naruto. Where will the clone take the scroll?" Kakashi asked, wanting to know if Naruto had thought it through. Naruto frowned. "Why do I have to explain it now? Let's go get Gaara," Naruto said seriously, turning to face the front once more. Sakura glanced to her left. "Naruto, are you okay?" she asked, with worry evident in her eyes. Even Yamato had decided that. "You fucking serious?" Naruto asked, swearing at Sakura for the first time, and causing her to gasp at his language. "One of the people I care most about on this planet is getting a piece of what makes them who they are forcefully ripped from their soul. Of course I'm okay," Naruto said sarcastically before his first shadow clone dispelled itself. Naruto ignored the stunned, silent Pinkette in favor of turning to Kakashi. "The body has been sealed and unsealed. Should be in Konoha now," Naruto said with a nod. Kakashi blinked. "Huh? How?" he asked. Naruto shrugged. "Well, you know how sealing scrolls just lock whatever item away in a pocket zone. Perfect stage, and I thought, hey, why don't we have a few different scrolls leading to the same location? So he taught me how to make basic seals, and then we made one that does," Naruto explained. Sakura fumed silently, while Yamato raised a brow in interest. "So, you seal it here and someone else can unseal it elsewhere?" Yamato asked, nodding appreciatively of the simple idea. Naruto nodded, causing Kakashi's mind to race with the implications. "It's incredible. Our village would be able to restock any medical supplies or weapons across entire countries in the span of 2 seal activations," Kakashi thought, looking at Naruto with a new light of respect. "I'll need to keep Naruto's out-of-the-box thinking in mind. May come in useful later," Kakashi thought to himself before glancing at Sakura, who seemed to finally think of something to say about their previous topic of discussion. "Naruto," Sakura said demandingly, "aren't I important to you too? Why are you so pissed with me? Why did you change so much?" she demanded as she turned to face Naruto in midair as they flew through the trees. Naruto turned back to Sakura with an obviously fake smile. "It's been 3 years, Sakura. Anyone will change in that time. Also, you seem to care more about me caring about you than you actually do for me. Oh yeah, and we're in the middle of a fucking mission, so stop bitching on about your life problems," Naruto said, ignoring her first question and turning forward once more. Ryuk cackled silently. "Wow, you weren't swearing this much before you saw the pink-haired girl. She must really piss you off, huh? Ryuk asked. Naruto just glanced in return, missing Sakura's expression from anger to sadness. Sakura frowned, but seemed to have cooled down as she looked at Naruto softly, deciding that the Naruto she thought she knew was no longer around. So, she may as well get to know the new one. And tell me, Naruto, what's the personal connection between you and Gaara? Sakura asked. Naruto glanced at Sakura in silence for a few leaps before his expression turned into a real smile. A soft one, but a smile nonetheless. I thought you'd have figured out my secret by now, Sakura. It's not now, Naruto, Yamato said sternly, trying to ensure that Naruto doesn't just blabber out an S-rank secret. Naruto looked at the Jonin before nodding. After all, he can't just ignore direct command from a higher up. Okay, well, Gaara and I have something very unique in common. Because of that, we're both treated like something we've never been. Naruto said as he looked forward again, trying to hide the sadness in his eyes. He had it so much worse than me, but I'll make sure that he's never alone again. Naruto's eyes said with determination, flexing his chakra to regulate it and make it sure it was ready to be used. Everyone in the group felt Naruto's massive chakra signature take form before it disappeared, causing the group to stay quiet as they glanced at Naruto in concern. Sakura nodded and looked forward. Alone? How are the two of them alone? Gaara has a family and he is a Kazekage. Naruto has Jiraiya, Kakashi-sensei, and me. Sakura thought with a frown as she tried to understand her teammate, though starting to realize as she thought about who else did he have. The group stayed quiet for a solid 20 minutes until Sakura finally spoke softly. Naruto, she began, causing the blonde to glance at her curiously. I don't know exactly what you or Gaara went through, but as your teammate, let me say something that I should have said a long time ago. Sakura continued, locking eyes with Naruto. No matter what happens, you are the teammate which has always stuck by me. I promise I will do my best to return the favor from this day onwards, she said seriously. Naruto stared at Sakura, never imagining that the pinkette would seriously care about him that much. He was stunned, silent, as she cleared her throat, then faced ahead again. So what's next, Sensei? Sakura asked to the Jonin behind her. Kakashi still held the eye smile that had appeared when Sakura spoke her promise. By the looks of things, we should be close to the rendezvous point with the guy's team. Tsunade was originally going to send them out with us, but they were already out in the field. They're incoming from the east, while we're coming from the north, Kakashi said seriously. The team nodded before Naruto blinked slightly longer than normal. Whoa, it can do that? Naruto thought before reaching back to grab his blade, bringing it around so that he held it to the side of the group. He looked closely at the black metal and smirked as he saw the small seals etched into it. I'm so glad that clone saw this, Naruto thought with a grin before placing the pole onto his back once more, adhering it with chakra so that it stayed in place. Naruto looked forward again, seeing a sudden and distinct change in terrain as they began to leap from the spread out trees down to a boulder every now and again to keep momentum. Not long now, everyone. Guards up, Kakashi said as he summoned another dog. Go find Guy. He'll be somewhere southeast of our current location. After that, just take him to us. Kakashi ordered the long-snouted dog wrapped in bandages. The dog nodded before it seemed to just disappear in a burst of speed. Naruto watched the action before looking over at Pakun. We must be really close now, he thought as he pushed off a boulder, focusing his mind on the mission at hand as he placed the scythe on his back. Kakashi pressed a finger against the button near his earphone. Are you ready? Kakashi asked the team helping him. Team Guy had appeared soon after Team Kakashi arrived at the base, where the two groups once more split up upon finding the entrance to where they suspected the Akatsuki to be hiding was protected by a multi-point seal. Kakashi crouched over the main seal, which sat upon a massive boulder, as he spoke into his headset. We're ready, Kakashi. guy's voice rang as he shouted through the communicative device. 1, 2, 3, Kakashi ordered, ripping the seal off before leaping up off the rock. Sakura sprinted forward, leaping towards the boulder as Kakashi cleared the area. Ha! She shouted in exertion before slamming her fist into the rock. Boom! Naruto and Yamato leapt into the cave first, followed moments later by Kakashi and Sakura, who stood at their flanks. Took you long enough, a blond man said from his place, sitting down in front of a large white-like bird figure. The hunched-over person next to him grunted. Indeed, I hate to be kept waiting, he said in a gravelly voice. After a few seconds of silence, the members of Team Kakashi's eyes had adjusted to the darkness. Deidara, the bomber, and Sasori, the red sands, Kakashi muttered in realization. The moment they adjusted, Naruto's eyes had become slitted. Naruto glared at the still form that was underneath the enemy, but his ears were ringing with the names of the people who he had learnt about thanks to Jiraiya. Sasori, Ryuk, Naruto whispered as he remembered the puppeteer's full name. Naruto smirked to himself slightly as his eyes flickered red. I need a chance to get out my notebook, then this guy's toast, Naruto thought as his gaze slid down to once more look at the back of the unconscious Gaara's head. Get going, Deidara, Sasori ordered. Deidara smirked as he stood, his clay bird picking up Gaara in its beak in the process. Well, I guess I'll be on my way out of here, Deidara announced as he jumped up into the air, landing on the back of his bird as it began to flap its wings. Naruto's teeth clenched as the rest of his team got into fighting stances. I have to stay to fight this Sasori guy. He's the one I can manipulate for a short while, before his death. So, I need to find out something important from him, Naruto thought to himself as Deidara flew over his head. Kakashi shared a look with the other joining on the team. Go, Kakashi. This is the reason I was sent with you, remember? Yamato said seriously. Kakashi nodded before glancing at the others on his team. Naruto seems very intent on this one, so that settles the teams then, Kakashi thought before turning back to chase the airborne enemy. Sakura, let's go get Gaara back, Kakashi shouted before sprinting off. Sakura only took a second to react. Hi, Sensei, she said as she began to run after Kakashi. Naruto was the first to act as he glared across the cave while forming a hand seal. Multi-shadow clone jutsu, Naruto shouted. Sasori chuckled as nearly 100 copies of Naruto flooded the cave. Right to it then, eh? Sasori said hoarsely as a tail moved out from under his cloak. It took Yamato a moment before he snapped back into focus. Nice one, Naruto, Yamato shouted with a smile of encouragement as he looked at who he assumed was the original Naruto. The Naruto Yamato was talking to nodded. What's the plan then, senpai? The clone asked as it watched how Sasori was moving intently. Yamato smirked as he began to explain his plan. While unseen and unexpectedly, the real Naruto Uzumaki crouched behind a boulder and hiding. Naruto took slow, calming breaths as he tried to stay silent while reaching around to the zipper on his back. This goes against all my fighting instincts to sit here, but I gotta think of a way he can benefit us before he's dead, Naruto thought as he took a glance at the previous entries to try and get an idea. While he was focusing, Yamato explained his simple plan to Naruto. This guy is supposed to be a puppet user, so all we need to do to stop him is get me close enough to the puppet so that I can feel the wood that they're made of. The moment my chakra rubs against it, I will stop all his attacks. That's when you need to hit him, Yamato explained as he formed the snake hand seal. The clone raised a brow. Not too sure what Yamato was planning to do with this chakra once it had built the puppet, but with a nod, it agreed. Got it, senpai. I'll draw out his puppet somehow, he had promised before disappearing in a cloud of smoke. Yamato's eyes widened as he realized the one he had been talking to was a clone, though he smirked before closing his eyes. Of course, now every single clone knows the plan. This boy is much smarter than the file indicated, Yamato thought before focusing on his special chakra. Sasori frowned as his tail hit the ground hard, throwing him up into the air and backwards as he looked towards Yamato. That Jonin is probably the one in charge of the orange kid, so if I take him out, then it'll be easy pickings, he thought as his tail slashed through the air. Destroying a few clones that approached him as a click came from behind his face mask. Puppet art, Senbone barrage, Sasori announced as a barrage of needles shot from his mouth towards the Leaf Jonin, taking many clones in the process. Gaining the memories of Sasori's attacks as well as Yamato's plan, Naruto nodded to himself. So the thing we're fighting is the puppet, Naruto realized and smirked before hearing a shout that surprised him. Wood style, wood wall, Yamato shouted, forming a wall of wood that stopped all the needles near him. Sasori paused for a moment as he landed before his eyes widened in excitement. A wood user, you're becoming part of my collection, Sasori shouted in a younger voice than what he had sounded like before. Yamato smirked. Not if I use my wood style and crush your puppets, he thought to himself as he finished another set of seals. Wood style entrapping branches, he said before slamming his hands on the wood wall in front of him. The wood wall vibrated before large, rectangular branches began to reach out from it towards Sasori. Naruto shook his head as he looked away from the battle, pulling out his book as he did. So, first leave the name space blank so that I have time to write out the full scenario, he thought as he copied the way the previous owner killed a large group of people. Boom! Getting memories back to him, Naruto scowled as the majority of his clones were just killed by Sasori, though it seemed worth it as Yamato popped out from one of his branches of wood that was made earlier, smirking as he formed a hand seal. Wood style, life to the processed, Yamato shouted. The wood that made up the puppet they were fighting suddenly shook before a small tree busted out of the back, growing rapidly and breaking the puppet from the inside out. Naruto paused in his writing as he saw something leave the destroyed puppet via Shunshin. Multi-shadow clone jutsu, he shouted, forming another 20, though these were especially packed, with nearly 10 times as much chakra as they needed. Naruto let the clones run out of hiding and take place behind Yamato, as the ninja stood still, letting Sasori talk in an attempt to intimidate, while Yamato did his best to recover more chakra. Turning back to his book, Naruto nodded to himself as he finally wrote Sasori's name in the necessary spot. Sasori Ryuketsu, upon revealing his true self, is killed by a scythe blade to the heart and reveals some of his secrets. Naruto smirked as he stood, closing the death note and placing it back safely in the seal on his shirt zipper with one arm, while the other grabbed the pole of his weapon. Naruto took a deep breath as he felt his 20 explosive clones chakra fluctuate. Great clone explosion! Naruto heard them shout. Boom! Using the cover of the smoke, Naruto leapt out while swinging his scythe around, sending wind chakra into it to empower it, though apparently the tiny chakra pulse was enough for Sasori to know his location. 1,000 arms manipulation, Sasori's younger voice rang out. Naruto turned to his left to see suddenly an onslaught of arms shooting towards him just as Yamato shouted out. All his puppets are poisoned, Yamato shouted through the smoke. Naruto scowled as he leapt back, molding the wind chakra in his blade with the single-handed ox hair bird sequence of seals as he swung. Wind style, upgrade blade, Naruto announced as his wind chakra wrapped around the blade. In a surprising use of skill, Naruto landed from his leap and dashed forward, his scythe flashing through the air as he began to cut down puppet arm after puppet arm. Seeing one get too close for comfort, Naruto decided it was time to send chakra into the secret seal on his scythe's pole arm. As Naruto stopped his wind chakra, he slid back a meter or so while swinging his scythe in a wide arc, the entire weapon glowing bright blue as he swung. Death Hunter! Naruto shouted. The blue energy that had been converted from his chakra formed a massive scythe blade of pure chakra that as he swung flew out in a wide arc towards the arms, cutting into the massive group deeply and reducing the number down majorly. Naruto scowled as he felt the technique give way too easily. I thought this would have made it to the other side of the cave easily. Naruto thought as a couple of his clones appeared around him in a well-practiced maneuver. The first one threw forward a handful of shuriken. "Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu!" it shouted, while the other finished its hand seals. "Wind style, great breakthrough!" The second clone shouted, launching its wind attack so that it picked up the suddenly 300 shuriken and threw them through the air even faster. Naruto took a defensive stance as he watched his shuriken begin to rip through the arms that were flying towards him. At the same time, a clone on the other side of the dust cloud dispelled itself. Naruto smirked before he began to run forward, just as Sasori shouted in supposed shock at all the shuriken that should be embedding themselves into his skin. 1, 2, 3, Naruto thought before leaping up into the air, suddenly bursting free of the dust cloud. Sasori's eyes moved slightly upwards to look at Naruto as his puppet fell to the ground. "Why can't I move?" he thought in slight fear and confusion as Naruto began to fall towards him. Off to the side next to the dissipating smoke of Naruto's clone dispersion, Yamato kept a focused look on his face as he watched Sasori's twitching form. "I knew it. The moment I realized he was a puppet, I knew I could hold him still. Now, with Naruto's clone giving him the necessary information," Yamato thought as he looked up, seeing Naruto as he burst through the dust cloud. Naruto fell through the air with a large grin as he fell towards Sasori. "Surprise, motherfucker!" Naruto shouted as he swung his blade in a wide arc. Sasori's head was cut clean off as Naruto landed on his feet to the puppet user's side. Naruto span with the momentum of his landing, his scythe embedding in Sasori's back and sticking out the front of his chest through the cloak of the Akatsuki. Sasori's eyes were wide as his head fell through the air, landing heavily on the ground as he looked at the scythe blade that was stabbed through his heart's containment unit. "Oh," he thought in shock as his vision faded. Naruto ripped his scythe free, hacking Sasori's body up the middle and causing the puppet shell to fall to the sides with a hollow bump. Naruto glanced around the body as he frowned. "He's down, Yamato," Naruto said as he tried to find what secrets the man had hopefully left behind. Yamato approached Naruto in a light jog as the last of the boy's clones dispelled quickly. "Fantastic work, Naruto," he said before glancing sideways with a smirk at the blonde. Though the punchline was lacking in taste, he said jokingly before leaning down to examine Sasori's remains. "Grab the head, will you?" Yamato asked with a wave towards the head. As Yamato took a closer look at the heart's containment unit, Naruto frowned as he approached the head, only for his eyes to widen as he noticed a slightly smoking line appear around Sasori's hairline. Kneeling down, Naruto tapped the line, causing the head compartment to open up suddenly and let Naruto see inside the head. His eyes widened at the amount of seals that was connected to a scroll, causing Naruto to frown in concentration as he looked over the seals closest to the skull itself, trying to read what they could do from Jiraiya's training. Information sealings, recordings, sensory receivers, Naruto thought, before his eyes widened in realization. Was this scroll his brain? Is this where he kept his memories? Naruto thought as he popped the scroll from the skull. Hearing the pop from the head cartridge open, Yamato looked up to see Naruto's back as the blonde leaned over the head. "What do you see, Naruto?" Yamato asked as he stood tall. In a quick movement, Naruto tucked the scroll into his pocket that faded away from the other ninja as he turned toward him. His head just opened, Naruto deadpanned as he pointed down at the head. Yamato's brows shot up as he approached the head, looking inside as he tried to read the seals himself. Seems that whatever was in here was holding the information that his senses picked up. Kind of like a scroll of memories or something, Yamato muttered as he looked at the detached piece of skull. "Wonder what happened to it," he muttered as an afterthought. Naruto glanced to the side to see Ryuk watching with a wide grin. Maybe he was booby-trapped or something. If it's a scroll, a simple fire or something could have destroyed it, Naruto said. Yamato nodded as he stood. Possible, definitely possible, he said before turning to Naruto. I want you to seal the Sasori puppet into that multi-release scroll of yours, as well as his puppet of the Sandaime Kazekage, but give me a clone first, Yamato ordered. Yamato glanced over his shoulder. Get to work, Naruto, then follow after me, Yamato ordered once more before running out of the cave. Naruto's clone closed behind. Naruto sighed before pulling out his special scroll while forming another clone with a single-handed seal. Let's see what's in here, Naruto muttered to himself as his clone got to work sealing the pieces of wood away. Whoa, Naruto exclaimed as the moment he opened the scroll. He spotted a lot of half-seals before his eyes widened in recognition. Turning to his clone, he shouted, "Wait! Show me the head again," Naruto said. The clone hesitated in sealing the head before passing it to Naruto, who frowned as he saw the stilled expression stuck on his late opponent's face. Naruto muttered as he looked into the head again, comparing it to the cranial shell that had popped off. Naruto reached into his shirt pocket and pressed his chakra to the fourth seal. Poof! Reaching into his red backpack, Naruto pulled out a blank scroll and a pencil, quickly beginning to copy what he could while he had the time. "What you got there, Naruto?" Ryuk asked over Naruto's shoulder. Naruto glanced up at the Shinigami. "Just something that'll let me hopefully know everything that Sasori knew, like probably not the emotions and stuff, but the information and stuff," Naruto said before frowning and facing the Shinigami face on. "Where did you go anyways?" Naruto asked. The Shinigami grinned. "I watched the semi-dead guy get carried off. You ninjas can do some weird things, you know," he said as he took a bite out of an apple. Naruto raised a brow as his clone finished sealing everything but the head. "And the apple?" he asked. Ryuk chuckled. "Apple tree just north of this little cave," he said before taking another bite. Naruto rolled his eyes as his clone gave the scroll back to him. "Finish copying this, would you?" Naruto asked his clone, who simply gave a mock salute before doing so. Naruto placed his special multi-location sealing scroll into his pants pocket before once more looking through Sasori's scroll. I can't really tell what all of these do, but the ones along the scroll sides are all half of a standard transference seal, the other half of which was on his skull, which led down to that containment unit. Naruto muttered to himself as he pondered the scroll's uses. Poof! Naruto nodded to himself as he picked up the now slightly used scroll, dropping it into his backpack before putting the bag on. He formed a simple ram seal as he focused his chakra to the seal in his shirt pocket. Poof! Naruto smirked as the bag went into the seal effortlessly before kneeling down once more and picking up his scythe. This baby works well too, Naruto thought as he ran his hand across the blade, seeing the slight amount of blood that was from cutting Sasori's heart in two. Naruto brought his hand back to look at the blood on his fingers. His eyes seemed to smolder as he licked his lips. Naruto jolted out of his thoughts as his other clone's memories assimilated into his mind, showing him that Yamato had launched a water ninjutsu that had caught the turned-away Gaara by surprise as he was focused on dodging Sakura and Kakashi. Naruto came back to reality, flicking the blood free from his scythe before placing Sasori's brain scroll into his pocket. Gaara's still dead, Naruto thought grouchily, before he began jogging to catch up to Gaara, hopefully to kill the man who had taken the life of his friend.